what you're thinking, but you're safe here. It's okay to not be okay. And self-love is always going to be the best love. Self-care is going to be the best care. Now, join me as we let out some steam, become a little less stressed and more carefree. Come join me over our weekend detox, and let's detox together, because we always want to protect our energy. Greetings and salutations. Oh, sorry. That was supposed to be up. I don't know why that was down. I was showing it off to other people because I have other things to do after this, guys. Remember? Hi, my name's Reiko. How are you doing? What's good? My producer is a little upset because I grabbed the mic on her, and she's just like, why did you do that? Because why not? It's my show. I'm joking. It's technically her show. I just so happen to be the host. It's all right. And now it's our show. I'm joking, guys. Hi guys. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lady Reiko, and if you guys know my motto, I am your friendly neighborhood witch, that one healer witch, if you're on my Twitter, or the friendly neighborhood bridge troll on the days that I'm not wearing makeup, like today. I'm wearing makeup today, so I'm a witch. So, guess what today is? It's podcast day, guys. We are here to detox. We're going to be talking a little bit about victim mentality. Now, before we get into this episode, I do want to go ahead and let you know that this episode is for educational purposes. It's to help educate and identify toxic behavior. Victims with victim mentality could technically be toxic people as well. So if you or anybody you know display any of these traits, just know there may be a possible trigger warning. This may relate to you in some way, shape, or form. Now, I don't want you to come in for me. I don't want you to be like, oh, I feel triggered. I feel like you were talking to me. And I don't want you to sit here and think that I'm out to get you guys, because I'm not. We are here to talk about controversial subjects, different toxic behaviors, because we want to heal from it. We want to be better from it. We want you guys to know how to be better and how to identify things within yourself. Now, if you guys were here last episode, last month, we talked about legacies. Now, with legacies, we were talking about how do you want to build your legacy? And some people don't realize that leading up to this point, you could be a victim. And there's a difference between being a victim and want to better yourself, and being a victim and just continuously want to be a victim, because we all heard it before. We have people who have the victim mentality, and they're okay being victims. They constantly say, oh, everything bad always happens to me. Oh, I don't know why this always happens to me. I just deserve it. Oh, I don't deserve good things in my life. In some particular cases, people don't realize this is actually very toxic behavior, because if you want something to change in your life, you should change it. In some particular cases, there are people who are victims and they can't get out of situations because it's a danger to themselves or their lives. So I can get it. Like if you're in an abusive relationship, and I said this a couple episodes back, in particular cases when you know that one person who constantly talks about they want to leave their relationship, but they're afraid to get out of their relationship due to possibility of abuse. It's the same thing with that. So what we're going to talk about is identifying what we call victim mentalities or victim disorders. These are people who have all the the mentality to get out of the situation, but they stay in their situation because it's beneficial for them to be a victim and they like the attention that they're getting. And we will also be talking about a little bit of some famous known victim mentality people that you guys may not realize that sometimes that's what they're doing because it's coping. Some people use the victim card or the victim mentality in order to get away with murder, and it's not healthy. Those are the more severe cases of victim mentality. But what we're going to talk about is some of the more common ones, the ones that we see are in our day-to-day, the ones that we see kind of going through with all the other people in life. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, let me ask you these questions. Do you constantly feel like you don't have control over a situation and you're constantly complaining about it? Yeah, you know, that job that you hate. Fuck, I hate this job. I don't want to be here no more. Ugh. My brother keep asking me for money. God, he only wants to talk to me because he wants money. And every time he gives me a sob story. Oh, but if I stop giving him money, then I'm the bad guy. But then you're complaining about it. Okay. Or do you feel like bad things keep happening to you no matter what you do and you're constantly never have anything good to talk about? Nothing at all. Guess what? You may be struggling with what we call victim mentality. Now, victim mentality is something that people don't really think too much about. They think that, oh, there's actual people out there who are victims, and then there's people out there who are truly victims, like they're in situations they can't get out of. Now, victim mentality feels as though bad things keep happening and the world is constantly against you. That's the best layman's term to put it, but it is actually a mental disorder. It stems from trauma, and you tend to feel like everyone is going to get against you. The more common times that we see victim mentality, and it's really bad because sometimes it doesn't come off as victim mentality. Let's say you are in a 5 to 10 year relationship, and in that 5 to 10 year relationship, your partner cheats on you, and they're cheating on you for years, like probably more than half of the time y'all are together, and you find out about it. And when you find out about it, now you're pissed off and you break up. This person does you wrong. They sit here and they gaslight you. They sit here and make you feel bad. Now you stuck in this whole mentality that this is what I deserve. Oh, I can't get anybody else. But you're complaining to your girlfriends, your best friends. Y'all keep breaking up to make up and break up to make up for them to rinse and repeat the same behaviors over and over again. But then you don't leave. And then you know your friends probably talking about you because you constantly complain about how you upset about being with XYZ or, John Doe or Jane Doe. And you still keep going back to them no matter how bad they treat you. And at one point in time, you run to them talking about this gonna be the last time, I promise. But then turn around and go back. And we just tired of it. That's a low form of victim mentality. Because when you finally get out of that cycle, now you damaged. You have a lot of trauma from that relationship. And not only are you feeling trauma, when you finally decide to start dating someone else and they are genuine and they are nice and they are doing everything right. And I'll tell y'all how I tell anybody I get into a relationship with. I don't bring my old relationship issues into new relationships. Because guess what? If I did that to you, if I sat here and came into a new relationship thinking you were exactly like my ex, that's not fair to you. You didn't do nothing wrong. But when you have victim mentality, you go into a new relationship thinking that person already is going to hurt you. Before you even fully get into that relationship, that person is already in your mind cheated on you 3 times. They talking to somebody else. Because you didn't get out that first cycle. And so now you already telling people because you're paranoid, you have anxiety, you already think this new person is cheating on you. Like, they ain't even do nothing wrong. They just exist. They have their own issues that they had to deal with, their own baggage before they got to you. And you already off rip, just straight out the door. Nah, man, you gonna be just like everybody else. So you already set up that this person's gonna hurt you. And you already talking about he works long hours or she doesn't pick up my phone all the time. Maybe she a sleepy girlfriend. Maybe she's not a social person. There's still people out in the world who don't really care for cell phones like that or social technology. They rather talk to you face to face. I will tell you, anybody I've ever got serious with, I do not like texting. You text me, you might take a minute to respond if I'm not like serious with you like that. I like to hear voices. I like to see your face because you can't understand or hear people's like fluctuations and emotions in text. It's robotic. I don't care for it. I'm blurred. I need you to focus. I'm sorry, guys. I'm talking about the camera not focusing. But that's what I mean. You already walked into this relationship being a victim because you have not got out of that headspace that the new person is not like the old person. And my cat's being cute right now, guys. I'm sorry, I got slightly distracted. My baby got cute. He a little high. My sister gave him catnip before the show started. So now he's over here acting a mess. So now you ready to be a victim. You already in your mind start telling your girl, man, he ain't responding to me. Maybe he don't like me like that. Maybe I'm not the only girl he talking to. You already setting yourself up to be a victim and you already playing a part. So when this person actually does stop and actually do wrong, then that's where it's at. I've always had a firm reality or thought process of I have a lot of shit that's gone on in my life. And a lot of people don't realize that with victim mentality, either you're going to succumb to being a victim and you just going to live in that cycle, or you can come back like a phoenix from the flames. And you guys already know my story. Is this your first time listening to the podcast? This is your first time listening to the podcast. Let me go ahead and give you a tidbit. Yes, I talk about my history, and I talk about my history because I want to educate people where I come from. So you don't sit here and be like, oh, she don't know nothing about trauma, blah, 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 blah. I don't want y'all to pity me. I don't want y'all to feel sorry for me. I don't care about that because guess what? Nobody was there to save me but me. I got out of that situation. Me and the person, the people that were involved in that issue in my history, we have come to an agreement. Well, at least 3 out of the 4 people have came to an agreement because the other person, I forgive him for my sanity, but that at this point in time, it is what it is. I'm going to keep it moving. Some people don't realize that victim mentalities, they love the attention that it gives them. And I don't want people to think I'm looking for attention. I don't care for the attention that comes with being a victim. I don't care for it. I tell people my story so you can understand where I come from. You can understand why I chose the path that I chose. But some people who are victims, they like telling their stories because they want people to understand and feel sorry for them because they like the attention that it comes with it. I do not particularly care for attention. Even if I sit here and I tell people, oh, I model, I XYZ, I do not care for people's attention because sometimes bad attention is not good intention, and at the end of the day, I just don't care for it. I actually feel uncomfortable when a bunch of people sit here and talk about how they want to do XYZ to me because of my modeling, so I really do not care for attention. I'm not one of those people like, oh my god, a whole bunch of people are complimenting me. I don't care for it. So when I tell you guys my story, where I come from, it's not because I want you guys to feel sorry for me. I want you to understand this is where my strength come from. This is why I'm okay being okay. I'm okay not being okay. I'm okay being by myself. I'm okay when I'm with somebody. And at the end of the day, I learn because some people don't learn from their history. Some people don't want to get better from it. And I want to help other people get to where I am. That's why I tell my story. So you know where I started to see where I'm going. Now, if this is your first time, You guys should know I came from an abusive household when I was a kid in my crucial years between age 7 to 15. I was abused physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then when I left, because I made the executive decision and went to another parental unit and said, if I go back to this environment, I'm going to end up dead. I'm sorry. The exact words I told my parent was, if I go back into that environment, I'm going to end up on drugs, in jail, pregnant, or worse, dead. And surely enough, I never went back. As I've gotten older, I realized that the reason that another unit stayed in the situation they were in was because of fear. And they felt as though that if they didn't stay in that situation, then they were going to die themselves. And they rather keep us within their grasp versus losing us because of XYZ. There's a lot of stuff that came into factors when it came down to the situation I was in. So that's what I tell people. I don't tell my story to be a victim. I don't need people to feel bad for me. I got over that phase of wanting people to feel bad for me and wanting to see in who I am and like, oh my God, I need to come and protect her. I don't need no hero. I protected me and then somebody else. So I don't need nobody to protect me. I know how to survive. The only thing is I don't ever want nobody to ever call me a victim. So some people don't realize that it doesn't have to be to that extreme to feel like a victim. In some particular cases, you can feel like your bosses are against you. Oh, they always pick me to pick the hard assignments. They don't like me here. And you've never given them any reason to not like you. Or you can even feel like your family or friends, oh, they only invite me because y'all feel bad for me. Not realizing you're trying to play a victim. And now your friends are like, oh no, Johnny, we want you to be here because we really want you to be around. Now they feel obligated because if they don't invite you to places, because you're going to be a Debbie Downer. In some particular cases, that's not a good thing. A lot of times, why do I feel like I deserve this? And I know at one point in time, we all do this in our lives where we sit down and an incident happens and we're just like, do I deserve this? And you look up at the gods or whatever deity you pray to and be like, why do you do this to me? You may not say it to other people. You might just say it to God, whatever God you pray to. And then when people come around and offer you solutions to your issues and you have a way out, let's say you complain about a job and how the job always works you to end, but then you turn around and you get a job offer, or people help you try to get a better job, or people come along to find you a better solution to get out of that toxic relationship that you may have with your job, with your partner, with your parents, with those group of friends. You come up with a list of reasons on why those solutions won't work and leave those who offered help frustrated and not understanding what went wrong. And sometimes you may even lash out and get angry at them. You might even continue wondering why they want to act like that or want to help out and everything else like that. But you just keep in that cycle. You don't get out of that cycle. You constantly think that bad things happen in your life and they're going to continue to happen, and you just accept it. You blame others for your misfortune versus blaming yourself for it. You probably sat here and looked at me like, oh, because I don't blame other people. She's basically saying because I blame other people that I am never going to get out. And now you're mad at me because you probably in that situation where you are the reason to blame for your own situation. There's no point in trying to change things because it won't work. You have a very pessimistic mindset. A lot of people don't realize that you feel powerless and helpless. And I mean, people sit here and they still offer help, but then you still don't take their help. You don't want to accept their help. You have people who are genuine wanting to help you out, but then you feel as though that you can't trust these people. And some people actually sit here and they just rather stay in that victim mentality because of it gives them attention. You dwell on negativity quite often. Like, you complain about the life and attraction, like basically how tough it is just to get people to give you attention and everything else like that. You find it to fill a void in conversations because you don't know anything else to talk about, because you have nothing but negativity to talk about, that you don't even know what the good things in your life are anymore. You generated, you continuously put yourself down, which is self-abuse. You remain stuck in the past. You're not wanting to think about the future. You just like, and when I mean like you're stuck in the past, I'm not like, oh, you're stuck in that one time you got a whooping when you were 3 because you decided to eat candy before, dinner. No, what I mean by you're stuck in the past is you are so consumed by the bad things that has happened in your life in the past that you cannot look good towards the good in the future. You basically feel as though every time you walk into a relationship, everybody's going to cheat on you. You're going to walk into every relationship and the relationship's not going to last. You automatically think that the relationship is not going to last more than 3 days or a month or 3 weeks. Oh, nobody wants to stay with me because I'm not a good person. That's why they don't want to stay with you, because you have low self-esteem. And I hate to say it that way. I hate to be that tough love person, but that's usually what happens. You're blaming the world, basically using other people as scapegoats, your family, your traumatic past, all this other stuff. I tell people that I don't look at the stuff that has happened to me when I was younger as a scapegoat, as a why I'm a bad person. I tell people my labels. Like I do have trust issues, but I am working on them. I do have, abandonment issues, but guess what? I'm working on them. And the thing is that people don't realize that just acknowledging your issues and actually working on them is actually a beneficial thing. But then when you sit here and you're like, I have trust issues because my ex and this, that, and the third. Maybe you cheated. Is that the reason why you may have trust issues? Because sometimes those people with the victim mentality do wrong themselves. Then they instantly blame other people's for their bads. Another big thing that I kept finding when I was looking up this was feeling cheated. They feel like the world isn't fair. And I can tell you a lot of people who got this mentality, and you may not realize where it started. When you live in a multiple child household and you're the oldest child or the middle child, when that baby comes in, instantly feel like you cheated because the baby gets everything. They get all the new toys. They get all the XYZs. Or in the reverse case, it's the first child that gets everything and the baby gets all the hand-me-downs. But then the older child gets mad because the younger child gets away with murder. The things that you wouldn't get away with, the baby can get away with. I feel cheated. My parents care about that baby more than us. And I'll tell you, I am the oldest. I can tell you, I went through this. It didn't stick, but a lot of people don't realize a lot of these bad habits stick. A lot of these mental problems stick. So let's say this again. Let me go ahead and break down some of the common signs if you're suffering, or you or someone else is suffering from victim mentality. 1, you're constantly blaming others for feeling miserable. 2, you possess a life is against me for the philosophy. Oh, woe is me. The world is against me. Life hates me. Why am I even here? You're very cynical or very pessimistic. I mean, extremely pessimistic. Well, why even bother? And I'm not just saying because there's some people who are just severely depressed and they may have a depressed episode, because pessimism kind of just goes with that. It kind of does. It's kind of hard. You see your problems as catastrophic and blows them way out of proportion. You didn't get that raise, so now you feel like the world's about to end. I will never get a raise. I'm stuck in the same 9 to 5. I'm not going to get any extra money. And you hold on to that. You believe that you're the only one being targeted or mistreated. Why is it that they always give me more of the work? Why is it that my girl keeps picking on me every single day? to clean up. It's just normal basic stuff. If your girl has to tell you to clean up, we might have to have a separate discussion outside of this podcast, because I feel like you should be able to clean up behind yourself unless you're having a depressed episode or you're not feeling good that day. I will go ahead and give slides on that, because depressed episodes, sometimes just being able to do basic things like wash your face is a task. So if you are depressed, you get a pass. But if you are just a regular human being, sorry, baby, we're going to have to talk about that a little bit. You keep reliving past painful memories that made you feel like a victim, and you just run with it. Again, back to that whole being in a bad, abusive, toxic relationship, and then go into a new relationship, and you automatically think that new person's cheating because that bad relationship that you were in before had made you have trust issues. And you're automatically telling your friends, oh no, I'm over here, got to deal with these things and this things and that things. And they're spending long times at work, and I think that they're out talking to someone else. They might just actually be, taking some overtime. I know a lot of hardworking earth signs out there. Just letting y'all know that. Okay? All right. So the next one. Even when things are right, you find something to complain about. You sat here and had a great day. Somebody came up to you and sent you that meme talking about, bitch, you doing a good job. Man, you doing a good job. Because you did. You got a whole raise. Your kids ain't getting into no fights at school. Your man ain't out cheating on you. You actually having a good cycle. Had a whole healthy ass relationship. Damn, he might be out cheating on me. Again, victim mentality. You just constantly finding something to complain about. Or better yet, oh no, that one blade of grass that didn't get cut with the other levels, and now it done blew out your whole day, and now you mad the whole day. It could be something as small as that. You refuse to consider others' perspective when talking about your problems. So when you telling people about your problems and they're giving you a solution and you don't take it, because you don't really want help. You're liking the attention. You feel powerless and unable to cope effectively with problems in life or in general. I tell people that there is a lot of different things that people do not realize that you are doing. It's very toxic. Being a victim is very toxic. A lot of people do not realize. A lot of the reasons why people rather stay a victim, and I'm going to tell you why. Most of these people who play victim knows well. They are very, very, very smart people for the most part. And these are people who have been manipulating the system. These are not going for actual victims. So I need to definitely clarify and draw the line in the sand with this. These are people who are able and willing, or well, they're able but not willing to get out of their mentality and not be victims, but they choose to stay being victims because there's perks for being the way that they are. When you are a victim, you can use the victim mentality as a manipulation tool. You're not having to take responsibility for anything. I can go ahead and relate as a woman, and I'm going to tell you like this, because dudes, they play victim a little differently. As a woman, let's say you come to your girls talking about, he's cheated on me. What did I do wrong? Boo-hoo crying. Guess what though? All her girlfriends are gonna be like, oh baby, it's not your fault, he's just a dog, come here baby. Did I not suck his dick or something? And I'm sorry, this is 18 plus. If you happen to stumble upon my podcast, it is what it is. And You're going to sit here and you're going to cry, and all your girls are going to come up to you. They're going to come and give you tissue, come and hug you, sit here and tell you, baby girl, it's okay. Don't worry. I don't want to go home tonight. Instantly, the responsibility of having to go home and talk to your man is no longer on the table, because now your responsibility is out the door. Your girls that you sat here and cried with has now taken the responsibility of being your caretaker. That's perk number one. Perk number one is not having to take any responsibility for anything. They are going to take care of you in that moment. And if you keep doing it, they're going to keep doing it until they are tired of it. Other people lavishing you with attention. Just back again to that same scenario, that same situation. You sitting here crying, boo-hoo. You know, your whole eyelashes are coming off, mascara running down your face. You know, your hair is a mess because you done found out your man's cheating. Now you got all this attention. Now you sitting here and now you done turn around talk about, man, fuck that dude, blah, blah, blah. And now you posting up a status. I'd rather be single than deal with a cheater. Now you got a whole bunch of dudes in your DM that's been waiting for you to be single. Now you got attention. Oh, he doing you dirty, girl. I would never do you like that. My queen, my beautiful baby. Girl, I would never do that. I would lavish you up, blah, blah, blah. And they eat that shit up. They do. And sometimes just, you know, their family feeling bad for them. Oh, baby, let me go ahead and make you that home cooked meal. I don't know if y'all got those old school parents that if you sit here and go to their house crying, they make you your favorite meal. I promise you, if I was to go home right now to my dad and I was crying, I would probably get a home cooked meal, because I told my dad I was homesick not too long ago. And that's only because I'm a big ass child. This is the furthest I've ever been from my parents. So I can admit that. And that's not a victim thing. That's just legit being homesick. That is a normal feeling. But I promise you, if I ever got my heart broken, I would sit here and call my dad and be like, Daddy, I need to come home. And he'd be like, what's going on? I'm like, I just need to come home for a while. And then I guarantee you, as soon as I get there, there'll be fried chicken and some spaghetti waiting on me. And only the real ones know that spaghetti is a side dish. I know Italians are probably going to be cussing me out if they listen to this podcast, but like, side dish? What the side dish? Side dish? Yes. My dad will make me that. Either fried fish or fried chicken with some spaghetti. And that's, you know, St. Louis to actually just the Midwest, honestly. It is what it is. Other people feel sorry for you. And again, it comes around with that attention. When people sit here and they feel sorry for you, they typically kind of like bend over backwards, especially if you're an empath or you're a people pleaser. We would typically just like give you whatever you want. Oh, baby, you don't have to lift a finger. You can stay here as much as you want to, as long as you want to. Oh, they kicked me out. I don't know what to do. I'm going to be on the street with my babies. Oh, my favorite one. I need $5 to hold until next week. I'll pay you back. Every week. Need some money. Other people are less likely to criticize you or tell you that, or be upset at you, because guess what? You're a victim. Why would I sit here and get mad at a victim? You're the victim. I feel bad. I did you wrong. Now I feel guilty. Now I have to sit here and I got to apologize to you, and they can manipulate the situation. Then also another thing about being a victim, they have the right to complain. These are perks. These are actually very bad perks to have, but this is why most people who are victims stay in that victim mindset, because at the end of the day, oh baby, you're okay. You have the right to complain. Oh, no. You're fine. No. Don't apologize. You ain't got to keep telling me sorry. I get it. I understand. No, baby girl, I got you. If you could get out of that situation, you could. You're more likely to get what you want. And what I mean, again, we can go back to that same scenario. They can use that same situation, instead of on their homegirls, use it on the guy that they used to have links with, or that guy that they used to date, or that female they used to date. Oh my God, I don't know why he treated me so badly. I did everything right. Let me just cry on your shoulder. And now she got to weigh in. Let me just lay with you for a while. You know, I got a whole girlfriend I'm committed to, right? She didn't use this. She played on that. And this is, the victim mentality is more on females. And I hate to do this. And I say this because more or less, I told you guys, I'm not here to be nobody's friend. I'm here to talk about things that most people do not understand, and they don't want to talk about. But most people who have the victim mentality are women. Statistically, it's women. Some people use their background. It's like you're more likely to get what you want. I'm gonna go ahead and continue down this perk list, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give you some statistics. You don't have to feel you feel interesting because you get to tell people all your stories because they like to hear themselves talk. You don't have to feel bored because there's too much drama going on, because they love the drama. Because some people could say that victim mentality also comes with those people who just love drama. You know, that one friend that no matter what, they always in the middle of some damn drama, and it's them being a victim. That's some victim mentality shit. You get to avoid and bypass anger because you're too busy feeling sad, so you don't get to be mad or anything. And these are those things that, you know, that they get. This is how their lifestyles are. They live for that kind of action, that attention. That is the plus side for, you know, being a victim. And then a lot of the times people do it very subconsciously after a while. Like, you just develop this ego or this personality that you become so consumed in it. And that's the dark side of it. This is now your person. This is now who you are. You've done it so long that you're sitting here stringing along friendships. You are playing victim with friends. And it's to the point where, like, it's like the snowball effect. Just like playing. Bleh. It's the snowball effect, like saying a lie or telling a lie. You tell one lie, and then you got to tell another lie to cover another lie. And you just keep going and going and going, and you're so piled up with lies that now nobody's going to ever believe you. And it's the same thing with victims, that automatically we just think you're a victim. You have people feeling sorry for you, a way to easily wrap them around your finger, and basically you're going to continue craving that control because it is a control tactic. A lot of people don't realize that being a victim gives you a control mentality, and it makes it hard for people to sit here and want to be around you. Some people get tired of hearing the same problems as the woe is me. Every time she calls me, something bad doesn't happen, XYZ. Because guess what? That's all they're going to think of, is that every time you call, it's something bad. Same thing about if you only call people just for money. It becomes a cycle. It becomes a habit. You don't ever call me any other times. Statistics. I had my statistic chart up, but it's sorry. We're going to go ahead and find out what's going on. A lot of people, though, that you don't realize, a lot of people who are victims are narcissists. You would think that it would be lower end people, like not narcissists, but it's narcissists. It's the main personality that plays victims, because it is a literal control tactic. If I continue giving you a sob story, you're going to continue giving me money. If I continue giving you a sob story, you will never leave me. If I continue giving a sob story, you're going to keep feeling bad for me. I have a few people in my life, and I'm going to tell you like this. I have a few people in my life who have this mentality. One person constantly gives me a sob story that they haven't eaten and they need money, or they need to do something for their child. And I love kids, and they know that's the easiest way to get to me, is tell me that their child needs something to get money. They don't call me for any other reason. I'm fully aware of why they're calling me, and unfortunately I just can't do nothing for them. I don't know if their money's really going to what they're saying it's going to, and I can't sit here and, you know, criticize or ask them, hey, show me the receipts, this is where it's going to. Because guess what? The moment you do that, then it's going to become a whole, oh, you don't believe me, or this, that, and the other. In some cases, a lot of the times, if they feel like just telling you things don't work, they will start giving you physical proof, and they don't want to change their situation. And a lot of the times when you give them solutions to change the situation, they don't want to take the advice. They're just not. It's a narcissistic behavior, and there's nothing you could really do it. A lot of people also sit here and say that this is a victim complex, victim disorder, victimhood. There's a lot of things that are going on here. It's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about. And they don't realize that how bad it is. And I think you guys probably, if you heard other episodes and stuff, I talked about the guy that I was messing around with and how he was treating me and this, that, and the other. And I tell people all the time, I can't sit here and say that, you know, he's in the wrong. I'm just as in the wrong as he is, because I'm not the victim in this situation. I allow it to keep happening. I don't complain about it. I was like, at the end of the day, the only person who has the right to be mad at this person is me. Now, if you guys don't realize, victim mentality is not only a personality or mentality, it is a mental health issue. It is indeed, it is actually can stem from like one thing of trauma. And then the moment that they realize that telling somebody about the trauma gives them attention, they feed off of it and it festers. And just like anything that festers, it gets infected. This will keep them from living a very long and productive life. So a lot of people don't realize that when it comes down to it, it could be a very, very hard lifestyle to live and a hard style to get past when you live with the victim mentality. No matter what happens, you're constantly looking to people, and in some particular cases, one thing that some people do that are victim mentalities is they mask victim mentality with having a good personality. Some people are like, oh my God, but I do so much for everybody else and nobody ever does anything for me. That is also a victim mentality. So if you're sitting here and you're one of those people like, oh my God, I get the shirt off my back, but nobody ever gives anything else or gives anything to me. Now you're asking and you're looking for validation and you're making yourself a victim. Don't do that. If you're doing something for somebody, do it because you want to do it for them, not because you feel like you need anything else. That is what makes you a good person. If you are doing something for people and you're seeking and you want people to acknowledge it, then you need to tell them, I'm doing this because I want something out of it. I tell people all the time, if I do something for you and I want it back, I want it back. Like if I give you money, I'm expecting, and I tell you, you need to pay me back, I expect it. But if I tell you, don't worry about it, I'm not anticipating you paying me back. More times than others, if you ever ask anything of me, I'm always going to tell you, don't worry about it, because I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart and I don't expect anything from you. And if they were like, no, I'm going to pay you back. Okay, then the only thing I want you to do is I want you to put it to good use and learn how to make it for yourself later. And if I ask you to pay me back, it's because you've done borrowed from my kindness one too many times. If I get to that point of telling you need to pay me back, you done take from my kindness one too many times. I'm just one of those people. I'll give you freebies up until a certain point, and then after the freebies, I'm gonna need you to pay me. So a lot of people, again, that have that, victim mentality disorder, or they're like, don't blame me, it's not my fault, I did nothing, the world is against me, help. Honey, no. You probably need to get some help. I'm trying to see what else it is, but like I said, a lot of the victim mentality comes from a lot of past traumas, and going there, a lot of this is going to stem from the last statistics was back in 2019. 1 in every 4 women and 1 in every 9 men experience victim mentality. That is a very large number, guys. And mind you, this is going to change. It's going to change. As of 2019, that's 2019. As of 2020, 1 in 4 women, which that has not changed, and now 1 in 7 men. Do y'all know how scary that is? it is more likely that a woman will play victim and have victim mentality than it will be a man. The only difference is it went down the number of 2 in the last year, from 2019 to 2020. 2020 was 1 out of 7, while 2019 was 1 out of 9. Guys, we gotta do better. I'm gonna see if I can find my famous cases of victim mentality, and then we're gonna talk about it next episode, because this one's gonna probably be a very short one because I have other things I gotta do. Some of the famous cases of victim blaming or victim mentality. We're going to talk about some of them. Chris Brown. I hate to use him, but he's the first one that popped up on my statistics of famous cases of victim blaming. What did you just say? Kanye West? So what did Kanye West say? Yeah, to say that he was the victim in the case.
I mean, all the shit that him and Kim Kardashian did to Taylor Swift. That was all bullshit.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, no.
Maybe it's more Kim Kardashian than him.
Yeah, cause
huge narcissist, so I fucking hate both of them.
Well, victim. We just talked about victim disorders and victim mentality. Most of them are narcissist. So, as you know, my roommate has stated.
That's just 2 narcissists that married one another.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Chris Brown blamed Rihanna for his abusing her. He was the victim. That is an example of victim blaming or victim mentality. Let me see. Pamela Anderson. Harvey Weinstein. That was she was a victim. She said Harvey Weinstein was the reason for some of the things that she did. There is ex-president Donald Trump and Eric Trump are on the list. They're blaming their daughter. Well, Donald Trump was blaming his daughter, saying that if she would to be subject to workplace sexual assault, it would be her own fault. No one else's. Now, that particular case, they are not saying they were the victims, but they're saying that she would be a victim if she was to get sexually assaulted. Some other people I can honestly say would be Casey Anthony. I think she was another one too. She tried to blame, other people for her daughter going missing, and she was the victim.
She tried to blame other people for killing her own daughter.
Yeah. Certain people I can actually probably say, what was the girl's name that her mom was faking her being sick? Gypsy Rose. I can honestly say she might have been justified in saying she was a victim, because her mom made her believe she was sick for years, and she went with it. This lady who is your mother telling you, yeah, you're deadly sick, and literally poisoning you to stay sick, and making people feel bad for you. That's actually, in their particular case, they're both kind of in the victim blaming, because she was loving the attention her daughter was getting her. They got free tickets to go to Disney World or some other places and stuff to make a Wish Foundation gave up to her because they thought she was so sickly. Yeah. There is a lot of them out there. There is a lot of people with victim mentalities, and people don't even realize it. And then some people, they like being victims, and it's weird because being on a spiritual journey and being at this point of growth in my life, I've noticed a lot of people who are in this industry, in this detox and spirituality industry, where they come off as these positive people, but shit always happens to them. Like all kinds of bad shit. You know, they get evicted out of an apartment. Their house burns down. But then they try to stay a positive mind and try to pretend like everything's okay. But then you always have a sob story every week of bad shit happening to you. Oh no, but I'm going to keep my head up. The gods are going to continue praying me. And then they're like, hey, guys, you know, I don't really do this, but can you donate money to me? You know how often I see that? A lot of these spiritualists have a lot of bad shit happen, but they try to portray being positive and optimistic, but then they have this tragedy happen, not realizing it's that masking that victim like disorder and like mentality with some optimism. So then you just like, oh, it's a freak accident. Again, this is a narcissistic personality. These are not people who are having one-off circumstances. These are people who are generally putting out bad and negative energy out in the world. So bad things are happening to them because they are not genuinely good. I've had a lot of bad shit happen to me, and I don't go out asking people, oh my God, can you guys donate money to me? Because I'm going to get my feet up at some point. No, I have so much in me that I'm like, I'm going to work through this. I've had my car broken into. Didn't ask nobody to pay for that. Only thing is, I probably asked my roommates like, hey, look, I don't want us to get kicked out. And even then, I always come back when I have the extra money. But when it comes down to it, baby, I do not sit here and I don't ask or beg for money. I don't even vocally put it out there like that for people to feel bad for me. I just kind of disappear for a while. I'm just like, look, I'm going to just deal with this when I can deal with that and call it a day. But I know some people, and I watch them. I really do. I watch a lot of people talking about, oh, my health is declining. You know, I got kicked out of my apartment. My boyfriend left me. What is other bad things that I could probably use as an example? Oh, another person has died. I had a lot of people die last year. I did not mention that I had lost a lot of people until it got to the point where I was damn near pushing double digits. Because at that point, I was at my breaking point of losing people. I got to that point. I was at 8 people in. And that's when I mentioned it. At that point, I was suffering by myself. Because I didn't want, like, every week people like, oh my God. Because at some point, you start really thinking, damn, you really lost that many people? I don't need people sitting here and feeling bad for me or feeling bad for those families or giving that unwanted attention to them. But the thing is, there's a difference between being an actual victim in a circumstances and having victim mentality. Now, if you come to me and say, hey, I noticed that you've been feeling bad. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. But I'm not going out of my way to divulge that information. Like, oh, so-and-so cheated on me. Or so-and-so, you know, broke my heart. For you to sit here and feel bad for me. If I go to somebody, I'll go to that person and talk to that person. Versus going to other people. And if we break up, we break up. That's when people will know about it. Like, for the longest, people didn't even know me and my ex-husband broke up. Except for a slim few people. Because that was just it. I had to start telling family members because he stopped showing up to events. But that's what I mean. There's a difference. People like the attention. And people who are narcissists use victim mentality to get away with it. And I mean, another famous case, and I hate to use him, is Ted Bundy. How many times I think he used the fucking broken arm mentality to get girls to get in his damn car?
So many.
He used it so many times.
Yeah, it was always like, oh, I need help with this. And he always like, that's how he always like lured women, was he acted like he was either hurt or...
And he is one of the biggest fucking narcissists out there. If y'all don't ever sit down, and I'm telling y'all, as a person who's a spiritualist, sit down and watch Ted Bundy's fucking interviews. When I tell you he is the biggest fucking narcissist, what if they actually, I watched one recently where they asked him, they were like, it wasn't me. I was like, but what if we caught you and the killing stopped? Well, then they already happened before. I'm like, bruh, that means they caught the person who did it. Like, I'm sitting here watching this. But he is a prime example of a person who used victim mentality to lure people to their fucking deaths. So, again, victim mentality is used mostly by narcissists because they know it's a way of getting attention. They know it works. People as humans, and as women, we do it too. We do it the most, and it's so fucking aggravating. And I watch women do it, and it hurts my soul because it makes girls like me hard to come by. Because when I sit here and I finally get in a relationship and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to finally start dating someone. They're going to look at me like, oh, you got all this shit on your baggage. Oh, you must be a victim. I feel bad for you. Oh, I need to stay around to protect you. No, you do not. Honey, you want to leave? Leave. Did you just throw up? Wait a minute. Don't die.
Sorry. Going down the wrong way.
That's what she said. Anyway, I've actually had a dude tell me that the reason he doesn't want to leave me because he feels like he needs to protect me. Let me say that again. I had a dude literally tell me that he did not want to leave my life because he needed to protect me. Now, mind you, there is people out there who has hero complexes. So they will purposely find damaged women, or in some particular cases, some women will find some damaged men and play hero. Again, that is another form of a codependency or a toxic behavior or a narcissist. I am not here to save nobody, and I'm damn sure not here to be rescued. If I cannot survive on my own, and this is where my dad has raised me, and this is my daddy coming out when I say this, my dad has not raised me to depend on nobody, because what happens if you die? I'm not saying I'm going to kill you, but what happens if you go to work and get into an accident? Now, you done basically told me you need you need to be there to save me, right? But you died. Now what am I going to do? How in the world am I supposed to breathe with no air? You're supposed to be my air. And you died. No, I was raised to take care of myself. I went from an abusive household where I was protecting everyone to actually having to have a normal teen years, and I didn't do that because I was still in that mindset when I left that I needed to fucking protect everybody. I didn't need no saving. I don't need nobody to save me. I'm not drowning. I know how to save myself because I was saving other people. So, when somebody told me that, I was like, all right, hero, that's cool. But the same person that told me that I don't want to leave you, I feel like I can't leave you because you need saving, it's the same person who doesn't want to be with me. The irony behind that. Look at that, kids. So that sounds like to me, you just don't know what you want. One of your personalities want to save me. The other personality wants to be a hoe. And then another personality don't want me to be with nobody else. That sounds like you got your own shit going on. You figure that out. Have fun. That's just it though. But like I said, with victim mentality, they typically do want people to constantly be there, and they need that attention. Baby, I am so good by myself. I do not need the attention. I don't need you to sit here and give me attention. I tell people all the time when they're like, oh, you take all those photos, because if you follow my IG and you guys met me before I started my podcast, I used to model and stuff like that. Well, I still do. I don't care for the attention. I even sit here and I tell my sister, who is my manager, and my roommate, who is one of the photographers who takes my photos, I'm like, bruh, after I get some of these comments, I'll be like, what is y'all? I don't like the attention I'm getting. I took these photos for me. I mean, I'll be looking at the photos like, yes, that's me. The only person's attention I ever want is the person I'm talking to. And this is what I tell people. I don't care about who else sees my shit, who else likes my shit, who else I want to talk to. The person I want to tell my deepest shit to is whoever I'm interested in once we get to that point. Because I got to see if you can get past the trial period of cupcake phase. Because I ain't about to sit here and give you my baggage up front. Well, I'm going to tell you I have XYZ. Like I have depression, anxiety, PTSD occasionally. I'm very high functioning though. I barely want to talk about it. I'm getting better at it. I can open up. But I'm not going to sit here and give you all my baggage just for you to turn around and leave me. I put too much work in this. We building a whole new universe together. You had your universe. I had mine. We building a separate one inside and in the middle. And then we still go out and do our own shit. But the only person I care about and the only attention I care about is the person I'm talking to. So I'll be looking for if that person's looking at my stories, if they're liking my photos, all that other stuff. So I don't tell you guys these stories to get any attention because I don't care about that attention. I don't care about that. I don't do shit for y'all. I do shit for other people who need the advice. So if any of these things resonate with you, you can figure out like, yes, this sounds like me. You're constantly complaining, being a Debbie Downer, and people are giving you an advice and you don't want to take the advice. People are giving you a way out and you don't want to take the way out because you like the attention. You have the means to get a better job. You have the means to go and do better and stuff like that, but you choose not to do it. You sit here with a degree for marine biology and you sitting here working a dead-end job, not doing the things that you love, but an opening happens and you get the job offer, but you don't take the job offer, but then you still complaining about the damn other job. That is your doing. That is nobody else. I am the quick person to tell you I am not going to help you or give you advice if you come to me for advice and you don't take my advice. I am quick. After the third time and you've asked me for advice and then I give you advice and then you don't take the advice. Now, mind you, I give advice based off of several different components. I'm going to give you the logical advice. Like I'm going to give you the sources to find out the solution for yourself. I'm also going to look at your personality and what I know about you and give you a good solution. Or I'm going to tell you, or you could just sit where you are and complain about it all the time. But guess what? People, it's going to go against deaf ears when it comes to me. You're going to have to find somebody else to listen to you. That's how I am most of the time. But I still tell people this is a safe space. If you need to vent, that's one thing. But when you need advice, that's another. So I'm going to give you those components based off of those different factors. I'm here to teach you to fish versus fishing for you. That's what my podcast is for. I've had somebody literally ask me, how come you just don't help people and give them advice? I was like, because you can give people advice and tell them how to live their lives. But we are in a technology age where we can sit here and figure out the resources ourselves. So when I'm telling you about these things like victim mentalities and, you know, hero complexes, I want you guys to do your own research and actually find out the information that's behind it. That's also a thing. That's the reason why I said most of the time with victim mentalities, it is narcissists, and narcissists, it can come in both genders, actually, in all genders, but most of the people who have victim mentality are women. Eileen Warros was another one too. She said that her background is the reason she killed those men. Oh, I was abused. I was assaulted. That's why I'm this way. A lot of women who are serial killers are that way. They use the victim card, the victim mentality. If I didn't kill them, I wouldn't have killed them if I didn't grow up in an abusive household. Guys don't use it. They talk about their background, but they don't say that's the reason why they're the way that they are.
That's also why Ted Bundy is a weird serial killer. He had a good upbringing.
He did. He was a weird one. He had a very good upbringing. I think it was him and not John Wayne Gacy. I think he had an okay upbringing for a part.
Who, the clown guy?
Yeah, the one in Chicago. Mm-hmm. There's a few of them, but again, a lot of the people with victim mentality come up with that. I don't think it was Jeffrey Dahmer. No, Jeffrey Dahmer, I think he was abused. I think he had a very cold, malicious, like, military father, I think. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that right now, guys. But I know for Ted Bundy was a weird one because he did have a good upbringing. But, so, kids, If any of those signs sound like you or somebody you may know, they may have victim mentality. People who basically are constantly is a woe is me, bad things constantly happen, the world is against me mentality. And then you give them solutions and they don't want to take it, or they stay in this constant cycle of being a victim. It's not, they have the means but not the will to get out of that situation. They may have like victim mentality. Now, again, that is a difference between people who are in an abusive relationship and they might possibly die if they leave. That's slightly different. So please know the difference. If they sit here and they keep telling you, I can't, and they look like they're a little nervous, they're scared, they show up with bruises and scratches and all kinds of other stuff, they might be in abuse. So that might be a different whole situation. That's a whole different field of help you need to go to. That is abuse, and you need to seek out counsel, do wellness checks, try to get them in a shelter and stuff like that, get them away from those situations. But I'm talking about legit people who literally every week need to have $5 put in their account, or they keep calling you just for money, or they tell you, oh man, I didn't get to eat today, I don't know what to do. Shit, me neither. I'm broke. And I hate to laugh, but I have somebody who does that to me. Like, they only talk to me because they need money. And it's so funny because they try to cover it with, hey, I see that you changed your hair up. It looks beautiful on you. By any chance, do you have like $10 that I could borrow to put in my tank? And I'll give it back to you tomorrow. I'm going to try to drive around and get some more money. And I'm like, bro, you're the hardest working person I know. How come you don't have money? What are you doing? In some cases, they could be drug addicts. I mean, honestly, I don't know this person's situation like that anymore. We don't talk on a personal level, but I can just tell you that that's literally what's going on. I'm constantly only getting calls or text messages when they need money. I love them to death. And it's not just them. I have a few others. It's a few others that do the same thing, where they only reach out to me when they need something. So again, if y'all ever hear me complain about whoever I'm talking about, the one person in particular, which you guys shouldn't ever hear me complain about this person anymore. So it is what it is. I tell people there's a difference between being a victim and, getting out of the situation or turning the situation around. Again, don't get even, just leave. It's just not worth it. But just, if you know for a fact that people are trying to help you get out of it and you don't like being a victim, because you're going to push people away. If you're going to constantly have that mindset, you're going to constantly push people away, and people are not going to want to listen to you at some point, because people will pick up. We are not stupid and gullible like we were back in the past. Oh my God, Deborah, you're so bad. When you turn around and snap, or that person turn around and actually start putting their hands on you because you keep being in this cycle of abusive relationships psychologically with this person, because it is psychological abuse. You're manipulating people to feel sorry for you. It's abuse. There's no other way to paint it. You're manipulating people and playing on people's humanity cards, because there's a lot of us out there who still have humanity, and you're going to make it hard for us to trust other people. It's a lot of damage that goes with that. So if anybody you know, or other people that you may be around, like family members, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, best friends, people that only randomly hit you up for money, people who only hit you up because they want to get inside your cookie jar, but then treat you like shit, or whisper sweet nothings in your ears in the middle of the act, talk about, I'm going to marry you. I want to, get you to get life insurance in my name because I'm running these streets real stupid. So I tell people, you just gotta understand and look into this situation and just see the signs. And what we're going to talk about next episode is we're going to talk about how to get out of it if you actually want to get away from having the victim mentality, like you actually want to be a better person. Or if you know a person who has victim mentality and you want to kind of help them get out of having victim mentality or victim disorders, well, we'll talk about that next episode. And then we might even dive into, hero complexes, because now that's a subject I want to talk about, because I literally have a few people who have that same complex. Because hell, I think I slightly have that complex because I'm constantly want to save everybody. And that's why I started this podcast. So I actually do want to talk about that subject now. So, guys, again, thank you so much for hearing my tangent, my rant, listening to the statistics of, victim mentality, most of it being women. It's a lot. And we'll dive a little bit more into that. So just remember, guys, it is okay to not be okay. Self-love is the best love. Self-care is the best care. And don't let nobody halfway love you. And if you know somebody who's a victim, send them this episode. And I mean like people who have victim mentalities. Send them this episode. Till next time. Have a good one, guys.